To begin with a quote, they say that money can't buy happiness. While this may be true, it can buy coffee, and that's pretty darn close. Today's video is sponsored by Fox and the Snow Cafe. Okay, no, it's not. That would be cool though. But we are going to delve into the cafe and talk about why it is my favorite local coffee shop. I've been a coffee nut for about a decade, and I'm always on the hunt for new locations and new spots. I first discovered Fox and the Snow about 4 years ago through word of mouth, which is how they pretty much started. It is such an integral part of my life to enjoy coffee, and better yet, to enjoy it with friends. I've had friend dates, solo dates, and just time to reflect and drink coffee, do homework, and read, and their environment I think is perfect for that. According to Brian Williams, a coffee blogger, as long as you're passionate about your coffee, we'll get along just fine. The beginnings. Lauren Colley and Jeff Excel both worked in Brooklyn at a bakery, and when they were visiting family in Columbus, they decided to open up right here in town. With 4 employees, they thought that they would just open up a small mom and pop coffee shop and sell a few racks of pastries and some coffee a day. 5 years and 3 locations later, they have created a buzz-worthy cafe with rustic-style baked goods and hand-poured drinks. So the name. Fox and the Snow might seem kind of like an unorthodox name for a cafe, but it was actually discovered by Jeff Excel when they were at a Belle and Sebastian concert, and that was one of the names of the songs. He reached over to his wife and mentioned that that would be a perfect name, and she was on board immediately. They had a lot of people doubting the name, but obviously the joke was on them. It worked out perfectly. Locations. There are 3 locations that they've created in their franchise, the first of which being an Italian Village. It's on 4th Street, right in the heart of it, and it is still the most visited and most popular location. When they outgrew just having 1 location, they moved on to the historical German Village. According to the owner, there were a couple of neighborhoods they were always interested in, but it was the building that really brought them here. The 3rd and newest location is right here in New Albany. This is the shop that is local to me, and they tried to bring some of that big city charm into the suburbs. Their hours of operation prior to COVID were 8 to 3, Sunday through Saturday, with dine-in and takeout options. Obviously, since COVID, that dine-in option is not a thing anymore, but it honestly kind of worked out for the best because I found that I enjoy their products walking through a park or just sitting at home. The atmosphere of all 3 of the shops kind of are very cohesive, and they're tailored to the neighborhood that they're in. When they started the Italian Village location, it was a refurbished garage with huge windows and an industrial kind of vibe with unfinished ceilings, refurbished, they refurbished the doors to make giant floor-to-ceiling windows, and they have exposed brick and repurposed wood to kind of bring some kind of trendy chicness to the aesthetic. And they also include lots of greenery in all of their shops to bring some livelihood into it. The original was, like I said, crafted to be very trendy, very rustic, very industrial, but also creating a warm and inviting presence. That aesthetic kind of flowed through to their German Village location, but again, they tailored the building to fit the neighborhood while also keeping the integrity of the original shop. For the New Albany location, they again kind of made it more suitable for the neighborhood. It's a little more clean cut than the other 2, but again, it maintains that same comfortable and yet rustic and industrial vibe that makes people feel very at home and very welcome. The menu. The menu is sizable but simple. They have your classic pour-overs, iced coffees, espresso-based beverages, and a myriad of baked goods. They have cinnamon rolls, donuts, scones, savory items such as a ham and Swiss galette, and my favorite, which is the egg sandwich. On a toasty ciabatta bun, they have egg, greens, a Dijonnaise, and Canadian bacon to really go well with whatever coffee you choose. To wrap up, I think it's important to recognize that this is a mom and pop small business. It's locally owned, locally sourced, and locally curated, and everything they do, they really put their heart and soul into. It is accessible no matter where you are in Columbus with all 3 locations. They're constantly coming out with seasonal favorites, and but also keeping those tried and true originals that made it so successful in the first place. And lastly, I think it is also important to recognize that no matter who you are, this coffee shop will fit your palate no matter what that looks like. It is good for kids and grown-ups alike, and I think that no matter who you are, you'll find something there that you really, really enjoy and come back to time after time. So if you're hankering for a cup of joe, trot over to your nearest Fox in the Snow. Are there any questions from the audience?
Yeah, just one. Are there any plans on expanding?
So when I was emailing with Jeff, one of the co-owners, he said that of course they would always love to expand. However, due to COVID and having 2 young kids, it might not happen in the near future, but it all just boils down to the location and finding that perfect building that makes their shops so unique to them. Anything else?
That's it. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much.